Today we are talking about Sims 4 packs I think is so bad I want a refund. Not that you'd ever get a refund, because the last time I tried to get a refund from the EA app, it took me about 9 months. So if you do want to get a Sims 4 pack refunded, good luck. Today's video is actually inspired by this video by this creator here, and I thought it was just so funny. I really enjoyed the video and I've never thought about doing anything like this before. So this is who it was inspired by, and she's a really great Sims creator. So obviously, like, there are so many different packs for the Sims 4. Where do we even start? In a weird way, I kind of want them all refunded. I want the base game refunded too. Now it's basically free. We may as well start off with the expansions. High School Years is the first pretty tragic pack. I actually did a Let's Play of High School Years recently. It's the first time I played it ever since it came out. When it first came out, it was horrific, like literally horrific. So I came back to it a couple years later thinking, oh, it's probably been fixed now. It's been what, like 2 or 3 years? Like I think 2 years since High School Years came out. Surely over the course of 2 years, they would have fixed the pack right now and made it of decent quality. But of course, this is EA. If only EA stood for Eat Arse, then maybe we'd have something in common. But unfortunately, it doesn't. This is one of those packs where they just release it in a terrible state and everyone complains about it being in a terrible state. But obviously, because they got all the pre-orders and all the purchases, they don't really need to fix it because they've already made the money from it. When I say nothing in this pack functions as intended, I truly mean it. And I'm not just talking about bugs and glitches. I'm just talking about the horrifically shallow gameplay experience and the poor implementation of basically every single feature in High School Years. It just doesn't feel fun in any way. And it's a shame because Simmers have wanted schools, live schools in The Sims ever since The Sims 2. I remember people were begging for it, and now, like, I don't know, about 20 years on, like it's still not fixed. Like, I just feel like EA can't do schools. Horse Ranch is the next expansion pack. Ironically, my Horse Ranch Let's Play on YouTube is probably the most fun I've ever had in a Sims 4 Let's Play. I actually think Horse Ranch has a really great build mode, but I actually think the gameplay is not okay, it's severe. Again, it's very shallow. This is one of those expansion packs where it's like, if they cannot justify the price point of this being an expansion pack. Horses actually just don't come with any gameplay other than trotting on them. The actual competitions are a rabbit hole. The Sims 4, the game that was never intended to have any rabbit holes, has a rabbit hole. The actual, like, horse jumping things, like, you know, I forgot what they call, like the bars and the barrels that they run around. You can't set up like a course for them, like an obstacle course. So they just kind of like jump over the same bar over and over again, like 20 times. And every 2 or 3 times they do it, they kind of glitch and they all just, like, they go a little bit weird. They kind of clip in and out of walls and teleport everywhere. We also didn't get unicorns, even though they made it look like in some of their promotions that unicorns existed in The Sims 4 Horse Ranch. Like, you absolute liar. No, they don't. You can put a big fat dildo on your Sims horse's head and pretend that they're a unicorn, but they're not actually a unicorn. It just felt like a very shameless cash grabby attempt to appease to the cute girly gamers, which I think is very patronizing considering that there aren't any like good girl games out there. I 100% agree. There are no good girl games and there are no good girly horse games. So Horse Ranch was supposed to be the answer to that, and it ended up just being pretty disappointing in every single way. Next up, we have Island Living. This is one of those packs where I think to myself, what did it even actually come with? The world itself, honestly, I just find very, very dull to play in. This is such an unpopular opinion because I know a lot of people like living there. I just feel like this world, this whole pack concept, to be honest, is so held back by The Sims 4 not having an open world. Like, it comes with like jet skis and boat things, but it's like, why am I using it? Like, where am I going in this closed neighborhood? Where am I actually going on my jet ski? The pack comes with diving, but of course that's a rabbit hole. The clean up the island career is nothing more than picking up random bits of trash from the sand or the sea and calling it gameplay, but it's not really gameplay. Mermaids are like, they practically don't exist in The Sims 4. They're so bad. The only way mermaids are good is if you get the mermaids mod, especially when you compare this to The Sims 3 Island Paradise. And I know what you're thinking, Island Paradise was so poorly optimized. It was very buggy and glitchy, but if you remove every single NPC houseboat, if you remove a couple of random households from the game, plus install a random patch much from the internet. Island Paradise works perfectly fine, and that has underwater diving where you actually go underwater. You can live on your own houseboat and it won't bug out as long as there's no other houseboats in the game. It comes with running and owning your hotel. It's like a hotel, like tycoon sim. Mermaids were bad in Island Paradise, just like they are in The Sims 4 Island Living, but it just goes to show how shallow Island Living really is. It's such a bad pack. Taking a look at the game packs, which to be honest, I actually quite like the concept of a game pack if it's done well, but a lot of them were not done well. First up, we have The Sims 4 Die Now. I feel like this is such an obvious one. And aside from the bugs and glitches, which are very obvious, I would say the most disappointing thing about this pack, it was all marketed as being able to run your own restaurant, but in reality, you don't actually do anything. You're not a waiter, you're not a chef, you're not a host. You're basically doing absolutely nothing in your restaurant other than telling staff members what to do or having conversations with customers. It didn't really come with any like properly fun gameplay, especially considering dining in The Sims 4 is given its own separated pack. In previous Sims games, dining didn't have its own specific pack. Like it just came in some packs, it didn't come in others. So this is honestly one of the biggest things I think that holds The Sims 4 back, because if you think about it, guys, almost every single pack in The Sims 4 comes with food stalls, and I think they do it because they're trying to implement like food in the game, but they can't because Dine Out exists. I never ever play with restaurants unless I use Carl's Dine Out mod. I never run and manage them. I never eat at them because you can't. It's just a pack that basically doesn't need to exist because it doesn't work. Next up, we have Dream Home Decorator. This is going to be really unpopular because as far as I'm aware, this may actually be the most popular game pack, maybe behind Parenthood, I believe. Dream Home Decorator is such a fun idea on paper. It reminds me a lot of that Animal Crossing Happy Home Paradise DLC, which is basically the exact same thing. The problem is just the implementation. Dream Home Decorator is basically just build mode. That's all it really is, and the gameplay that is there just isn't very good. It wasn't implemented very well. It can be very buggy and glitchy. It doesn't make much sense. Like you'll go to a client's house and you learn that they like the color red, so you just kind of add a red sofa into the build and then they tell you how much of a good job you did. Like it was just implemented so poorly, and again, like it's literally just build mode. I also find the career itself relatively slow paced and doesn't really feel rewarding as a gameplay experience because you've just like built stuff. Like you don't feel like you've achieved anything, so I could definitely do without it. The next pack I regret is My Wedding Stories. Imagine actually making a pack attempting to make weddings better in The Sims 4 and they literally make them worse. Like how can you do that bad of a job? The worst thing is like they even like admitted, I can't remember if it was a tweet or an official blog post. I'm so sure it was a blog post where they spoke about how hard it is to implement a system like weddings in the game, and I just thought to myself, like, if you knew that was the case, then why did you bother making the pack? If you knew it was going to be shite, why would you bother making it? And of course, it's one of those packs that EA has abandoned and they're never going to fix it, so consider it broken forevermore. Now, you guys are probably thinking, Satch, like, are you going to put Journey to Batu in this? Absolutely not. I honestly actually don't think as a pack it's that bad, which I know, don't get me wrong, Journey to Batu is not The Sims. Nothing about Journey to Batu is The Sims at all. This is an entirely separate Star Wars experience coded into The Sims 4, but it's got nothing to do with The Sims 4. But in general, like, I think it's, if you are a Star Wars fan, I think it's an okay pack to mess around with. Granted, you're much better off just getting another Star Wars game, like a proper Star Wars game, or even like, you know, Lego Star Wars is so fun. Like any Star Wars game, like a proper one, you will have so much more fun with that. But I genuinely don't think Journey to Batu is horrendous. It doesn't feel like broken or buggy to the point where I want a refund, because I would just say it's a very, very niche experience that only a really tiny amount of people will enjoy. So I don't think it needs to be refunded, for me anyway. Taking a look at all of our wonderful stuff packs, the first pack I would love to have refunded is Moschino Stuff. What the hell does Moschino Stuff actually come with? The Creator Sim outfits in this pack are horrendous. This designer fashion brand pack literally has like some of the worst fashion in the game. I do like the men's tracksuit that comes in this pack. You guys know that Shanice also wears the pink Moschino outfit, but I guess that's just kind of for comedic purposes. In reality, this pack about fashion barely comes with any clothing, and the stuff that is there is so ugly. I'm saying that as a person who's like, you know, you guys know I'm like not fashionable. I'm just like some posh chav from England. Like, I don't know anything about fashion, but I feel like even I can like understand fashion enough to know this is not it. Also, the build mode stuff is like for creating a photography studio, but you can't really create a studio in the game, and the photography gameplay that comes in this pack is like, I don't really get it. Like, Get to Work also came with photography. We've also got photography in the base game, and they're all slightly different, and you need all three to achieve the full photography experience. Like, it's so dumb. I just feel like this pack doesn't need to exist at all. It needs to be refunded. The next stuff pack I want refunded is Cool Kitchen Stuff. A few years ago, I would have said this was the best kitchen in the game, and then Home Chef Hustle came out, and now that has the best kitchen in the game, and Cool Kitchen Stuff looks very, very primitive in comparison now, and I just don't think it's necessary. Like, it comes with an ice cream machine, like whoop-de-doo. It's one of those packs that just hasn't stood the test of time. Spooky Stuff is the next pack I want refunded. Spooky Stuff is basically content from the Seasons pack. In fact, a lot of the build mode items in Spooky Stuff is exactly the same as the build items in Seasons. They're just slightly different colors to justify them being different. In reality, Spooky Stuff should be bundled in with Seasons. Seasons is all about having different holidays, and Spooky Stuff is a holiday. Why is it not a part? Well, it is a part of Seasons unofficially, but you have to get both to get the full experience, and even then, Seasons already comes with enough Halloween-y stuff, in my opinion. Obviously, apart from fancy dress outfits, but then every single Sims 4 pack comes with like weird outfits. Like, there's always like one weird full body outfit in every single pack. Even the base game, by the way, comes with fancy dress outfits, so I just feel like this pack shouldn't exist. Perfect Patio Stuff is the next one. The whole gimmick of this pack was that it was supposed to come with hot tubs. If you want hot tubs in your game, you must get Perfect Patio Stuff, but now it seems it's not just Perfect Patio Stuff coming with hot tubs. The base game has them. I think a couple other packs have them, so hot tubs are basically an obsolete pack exclusive feature of Perfect Patio Stuff now, so it basically doesn't need to exist. I feel kind of cheated out of my money. Next up, we have Vintage Glamour Stuff. I used to really like this pack, but unfortunately, the butler doesn't work. Like, it literally just doesn't work at all. It's like, the Sims 4 AI is so dumb. Sims 4 Sims are not smarter than ever. Sims 4 Sims are dumber than Sims 1 Sims, and that is honestly saying something. If you like the idea of having a rich sim with a butler to do everything for them, unfortunately they won't. They will be very useless. Next up is the Fitness Stuff pack. Again, what does this come with really? It comes with like a rock climbing wall, and it comes with like earbuds, but like, why would I care? I bought Fitness Stuff thinking that I was going to get new stuff to use at the gym in the game. Where are the barbells? Where are the dumbbells? Where are the kettlebells? Maybe I want to do kettlebell swings in The Sims 4 so I can have a juicy booty, but no, it doesn't really actually come with like any new fitness equipment, which kind of defeats the whole point. It was just a total flop. Toddler Stuff is the next one. I reviewed this one recently, actually. The fact that toddlers were not a part of the base game when The Sims 4 was first released, and instead of like actually putting toddlers in the base game as a full life state with toddler gameplay, they gave us like the basics, but then if you wanted toddler stuff, you have to get the Toddler Stuff pack, but then this pack also comes with no gameplay for toddlers, so they released like the bare empty shell of having a toddler in the base game, but if you actually want them to do stuff, you have to get the toddler pack, but then the toddler pack doesn't really come with anything fun for them to do, so it defeats the whole point. Like, EA wants me to pay for a ball pit and a slide, things that literally should have been in the base game. Like, shut up. Now, you guys might be thinking, Satch, you're gonna add My First Pet stuff to this list. Absolutely not. Yes, I do regret buying My First Pet stuff, and I think if you do purchase the pack, you're an idiot, but there are so many warnings out there from YouTubers, even like, you know, from EA themselves. They warn you that this pack requires cats and dogs in order to function properly. This pack cannot even be sold for individual sale on the PlayStation Store and the Xbox Store because it is so cash grabby and exploitive. It literally breaks the terms of service. So it comes in for free with cats and dogs if you're a console player, so that's always a bonus. And if you're a PC player, you've probably seen reviews absolutely running My First Pet stuff into the ground. You've seen the warnings that it requires cats and dogs to work. So I feel like if you purchase this pack, that is 100% your bad. If I wasn't a Sims YouTuber, I would not have purchased my first pet stuff, but I wouldn't say I regret buying it because if I wasn't a YouTuber, I wouldn't have got it in the first place. You guys tell me which packs you would like refunded because you think they were so bad. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one.